Hold still.
What are you doing? You choke like a bitch. Bonnie is a very unlucky bucket.
Stop mentioning Bonnie and get to work.
I told you there's no fights this weekend.
Figure it out.
Oh! I said there's no fight.
My beanbags.
Holy shit, that was close.
Gotcha.
Get out of here. Oh, nice throw.
Hold still and give me that ass. Now you like that? Call me daddy.
I'm not giving up.
One more.
There's no way I'm tapping. Wait. Hector, stop the abuse.
What? Why?
I know what to shoot for this week.
Better be good.
I got the perfect idea.
Okay.
Since there's no fights this week, and it just reminded me because you're beating the shit out of me, and I refuse to tap, unlike Conor McGregor, we can talk about the upcoming fights that Conor McGregor should be facing in the near future. Thanks, Hector. Oh, shit, sorry. Hello, guys, and welcome back to another week. And no, there is not fights this weekend. Fucking ironic. No Bellator, no PFL, no Invicta FC, and no UFC. But on the bright side, we get to talk about one of my favorite characters of all time. Just kidding, I fucking hate him.
Like more than me?
Yeah, more than you. We're gonna talk about since Conor McGregor's last loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know, the one where he was tapping like this, almost looked like he was having a seizure. He was tapping so much because he's a little SBG bitch. We're gonna talk about some of the fights that I believe would be the perfect matchup for him next, because no, you should not be fighting for a title shot because you've never defended a belt in the history of all time, and you're 2 in your last 4 MMA bouts, questionably, because one of the fights that you had against Nate Diaz, the second one you won by majority decision, was a load of boo hockey bullshit because I think you lost. The first fight that I would like to see now is the rematch between Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo. Now, before you MMA fans say, oh, he doesn't deserve a rematch against Conor McGregor, he got knocked out in 13 seconds. Yes, I can count. I was very, very sad. I was in a bucket of tears because I did not want to see Jose Aldo go down, especially to that loser. Having said that, it was a nice punch, but we do know from previous history, if you are a true MMA fan, that 13 seconds does not depict who in fact is a better fighter, because it was a beautiful shot, yes indeed. It landed perfectly on the button, as Matt Serra did to GSP in their first match. Oh, and what happened the UFC after that? Matt Serra got slaughtered. What about Junior Dos Santos versus Cain Velasquez 1 in the first UFC on Fox? Rest in peace, Fox. First UFC on Fox ever. Cain Velasquez had knocked the fuck out. But what happened the next 10 rounds that they win on in their next 2 rematches? Cain Velasquez slaughtered Junior Dos Santos. Now, I know that's not the fight we're talking about, but it is the perfect point of reference because it doesn't mean Jose Aldo would come back and beat Conor McGregor, but it does show that 13 seconds doesn't really determine who in fact is the better fighter. Now, Jose Aldo is coming off a huge knockout victory against a man that's been rising up the featherweight rankings and no one's been able to touch, and that is Jeremy Stephens. Before that, he lost twice to the current featherweight kingpin in Max Holloway. But Jose Aldo toughed it out for over 3 rounds in both of those matches. But Max Holloway is a tough son of a bitch nowadays, so you can't really blame him for losing to those. But the thing is, Jose Aldo has absolutely learned, as Bruce Lee would say, the art of dying. And that, to me, in my personal opinion, is when you lose and you don't get caught up in the loss and, you know, kind of like Ronda Rousey did. Ronda Rousey did not learn the art of dying, but Jose Aldo rather came back and said,
I need to work on some things. Let's get back out there and let's put it to the test.
He did that when he came back and beat Frank Edgar. And then when he lost to Max Holloway twice, he did that again when he came back and knocked out Jeremy Stephens. So this is the perfect timing, especially if Jose Aldo is talking about going up to the lightweight, because a win between either of those does not put them in title contention, which is fair enough because neither of them deserve a title shot. That includes you, motherfucker, because you got a title shot at 155 without even fighting in the division in the UFC in the first place. To be honest, as much as I love Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor is the bigger fighter. The keys to victory here for Jose Aldo would obviously be keep the distance and use what he is best known as, and that is those leg kicks. So I think it would be a little bit more of a fun fight, in fact, obviously, than the first fight, but I do think it probably would still go the way of Conor McGregor, which pains me to say. Now, the next fight that I think should definitely happen should be against a fighter that he should have fought years ago before even thinking about having that first featherweight title fight, but Dana just saw him as a cash cow and an investment direct deposit right into his fucking pocket because he's a greedy son of a bitch. He should be trying to fight Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar knows how to fight at lightweight, and he would have no problem going up at lightweight if they said, hey, you could fight Conor McGregor. But the fact is, Dana knows that stylistically doesn't make sense for Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor will get his ass kicked. Not only is Frankie Edgar a precise boxer, probably one of the best boxers, if not the best that we have ever seen at the 145 division, but his wrestling and his cardio, I always say this, but it's true, are literally second to none. And now the timing is perfect as well. Conor McGregor is coming off a loss. Frankie Edgar has successfully rebounded back from that loss and would be in a perfect fit to go up at 155 and fight Conor McGregor. This fight would not necessarily determine who's next for a title because I don't think Frankie really cares about that because he has held the title numerous times in the past. But I think this would be a wicked payday and it would be really good to show what would have happened and what belt Conor McGregor would have never had if Conor McGregor had properly fought the right people at 145 to get to that title shot, one of them being Frankie Edgar. I think Frankie Edgar would absolutely destroy Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is the bigger fighter, but Frankie has been fighting bigger fighters his whole damn life. He would really be weary of that shot and get ready to pounce on Conor, grab a hold of him, take him to the ground, and just grind him out, and ends up getting the submission in that third round, making Conor tap once again. Now, of course, there is another fight at the 155 division that I would just absolutely love to see, and no one could worry about this fight not selling because, man, it would sell to shit. Especially because you have an amazing striker such as the fighter I'm about to mention now, Donald the Cowboy Cerrone. Yeah! I don't know why I'm pulling this. I just don't have a cowboy hat, so it seemed very appropriate. Now, this fight would be absolutely fantastic. The reason why I don't think Dana White wants to make this fight is because Donald Cerrone isn't much of a talker. He's more of a doer. So I think Donald Cerrone wouldn't really do much talking, and he really cut the press conferences short saying, you know what? We're just going to wait until we see when we get in that octagon when I put Conor McGregor's stupid ass away. Who's the better striker in this fight? It would definitely be Donald Cerrone. And Donald Cerrone is hungrier than ever now that he has a new baby boy, and for some reason he's found a new resurgence as to why he's just fighting, not just for the money anymore, but now he has a purpose to leave a legacy. We could see it in his last devastating fight when he took out Mike Platinum Perry. And a well-focused Donald Cerrone is a dangerous cowboy. Yeehaw! And the one thing that differentiates him as well, Donald Cerrone has fantastic jiu-jitsu. And that's where the keys of victory would be. It would be to set up Conor McGregor with those shots, but evidently get this to the ground. Well, Conor, night. Night. Now, we are going to go on to the final fight. Everybody's been waiting for the return of Nate Diaz. If you want to see Conor McGregor fight, he doesn't deserve a title shot, like I've said numerous times, but this is the fight to make. You're talking money fights, you're talking fights that kind of mean something, not for the belt. It's the trilogy fight between Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. Now, we all remember what happened in their first outing. Conor McGregor thought he was a tough guy and called out somebody on a 9 days notice. Nate Diaz was on a 9 days notice, and when he got this contract to sign, he was in Tijuana drinking tequila. Olé! And he said, yeah, let's fight. Conor McGregor had forever to train for this camp. He was bragging about how he eats 2 breakfasts and all this bullshit. He can keep his weight up. He's stronger than ever. Well, that was a bunch of boo hockey, wasn't it? Because as your stupid ass made an excuse for everything after the fight, after Nate Diaz almost rubbered you with a Stockton slap to the face and then took your back and choked you the hell out, you made an excuse saying that you didn't utilize your energy properly. No, it's just that you suck on the ground and that your cardio isn't that great like you think it is. Then when they met for their second time, it was a back and forth war. Yes, Conor McGregor got the best of him in some of those rounds, but the majority, in my opinion, was Nate Diaz once again, just slapping the hell out of him, picking him apart in the later rounds. Obviously, he did catch a second wind in those last 10 seconds. Watch it again as well. He took Conor McGregor to the ground and he was about to choke him out, but Conor McGregor was saved by the damn bell. So that's fine. Let's give it to you, Conor. It's one apiece, pussy. Now is the time to make a trilogy fight. None of these guys deserve a title at all, but they both could sell the hell out of a main event pay-per-view. And it's probably the only fight nowadays that could sell a whole pay-per-view, make tons of money, and no title on the line. So this is the fight to make. How would I think this fight goes? Nate Diaz knows, questionably, how to beat him twice now, questionably, like I said. And I think Nate Diaz would just give him a Stockton beatdown. Take his time. Just take a little more time with Conor McGregor, because we know with Conor McGregor's ego, he's going to slip up eventually. Maybe draw him in with a couple jabs and then just take him to the ground. This fight could easily be over in the first or second round if he truly wanted it to. But the thing is with these Diaz bros, they get egotistical, they get angry, they're like, yeah, I just want to fucking punch their face. Well, they're more like, laid back and always stunned. It's like, Yeah, like I'll punch him and stuff. I'll slap him. Whatever, man. You're a bitch. I'll take you out, dog. But I don't see this fight going past the third round this time. I think Nate Diaz being a little bit ring rusty. He hasn't been in there in a little while, but he's still training for triathlon, so he's still pretty shredded and in great shape. Take his time a little bit more, show a little bit more respect, working those combos, but eventually find his groove and find his second wind when Conor McGregor's gas tank is pretty much on empty because we know his cardio is shit. And finish him in the third round. Pull him down, pull his legs from underneath him, and eventually get that rear naked choke as well, which we all know Conor McGregor is so susceptible to. That's pretty much my wrap up on Conor McGregor getting his shit kicked in majority of these fights. And that's what I think should definitely happen next. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, of course, for not calling the police after you just witnessed the full throttle of a beatdown that I just got on my back by this thick ass chain. I'm glad you guys care. That's cool. We love you guys. Well, I love you. He has no concept of love.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Damn.
Exactly. No, you don't. Got him. Imaginary gun send-off.
So dramatic. Oh yeah, look at me. I'm so scared of the fake gun.
Oh my gosh.
Now look what you did.
What the hell? I just broke my camera.
It's actually mine.
For your camera. You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was loaded.
I'm so sure you didn't.
No, I didn't know it was loaded. It was an imaginary gun.